Hello. For the next series of videos, we're going to be taking an order from start to finish. We'll start by creating this initial sales order and finish by going through the pickup or delivery process and showing where the orders go. Now let's begin. Select Business drop-down and select New Sales Order. Now that we're in the New Sales Order, I'll go through each part and tell you what it is used for. First, we need to select a company. If you click the arrow on the right hand side of business name, it'll bring a drop down. From here, you can either type or scroll down the drop down and select your customer. For this instance, let's select Company A. You can see by selecting Company A, it automatically populates any information that workflow currently has on that customer. So let's verify the information. First, the name and address, then the terms, followed by the customer's info. Next, you have the template. The template changes the sales order based upon what you're needing to use. For instance, if you need to make a plaque, a trophy, a sign, these are automatically set up for your store based upon your needs. For this order, we'll use a plaque template. Following the template, we'll look at the PO number. This is for whenever a customer provides a PO number for the order that they're placing. Now we'll look at the event date. We'll go ahead and select an event date that the customer specified. In this instance, December 10th. Next, we'll select who the order was taken by. Most stores just use initials. Next, we'll specify how the customer will receive the item. In this case, we're going to be using pickup. In some cases, you may have delivery or ship. The engraving box is where the engraver will place his initials once he has completed the engraving. The Save As box is where the engraver will place the file name for the customer's reference. Next, we'll select the order due date of November 6th. That way, there's plenty of time for us to get the order done and for the customer to receive it. Following that, we have the Order Complete box. This is where, whenever an order is complete, they will place the initials of who completed it and the location and the number of boxes. We will now start making the order. First, we'll select the quantity that we want, so we'll type in 1 in this instance. Then we will select the box right next to description. This will bring up the style menu. From the style menu, we can select what style we're needing. You'll click the down arrow on the right hand side. This will bring up a drop down with all your current styles you have listed in QuickBooks. For this instance, we're going to go ahead and select a steel plate. So I'll type in STE and that will pull up the steel plate. Now that we've selected steel plate, we can see it populates some information for us. Please note the description box is the description that you place with steel plate in QuickBooks with that item. We'll go ahead and replace that with the customer's information. Now we will select our material for the engraving to be done on. We will type in BLA and select black steel. Next, we'll double check the cost and we'll double check the tax. Now if we had any other items that we wanted to add, we could continue adding them to the rows below. If we run out of room, we can always hit the plus sign on the far right and add more lines. If we have to rearrange things, once we rearrange them, we hit Update Row button, and this will make sure that the order that you placed it in will save as is. Next, we'll enter in the memo. The memo is a brief description of who the order is for and what it contains. The last thing we'll do is we'll double check the tax to make sure the correct tax code is applied. Now that we've finished placing the order, we can either hit Cancel, which will cancel everything we've done. We can hit Revert, which will take it back to the previous save. In this case, it will erase it. We can hit New Document, which will erase everything and start a new sales order. Or we can hit Save Document, which will save the document and continue on with the order. Let's go ahead and hit Save. As you can see here, you have 3 more options. You can cancel, which will cancel saving it. You have Save and New, which will allow you to save the document and create a new one. Lastly, you have Save. This will allow you to save the document and continue to the tracking station. The tracking station is where you can track, maintain, and get a brief overview of where an order is in the production process. You can also place important notes and upload files to the order from the tracking station. From the tracking station, you can see the sales order or estimate number, the business name, the due date, the order complete box, and the customer's info. If at any point in time you need to change any of this info, you can update it here on the tracking station and hit the update button just below customer info. Now let's look at uploading a file to the tracking station for the customer. If you hit choose file, you can go into your computer and select a file to upload to this particular tracking station. For this example, we have a Company A logo. We select Company A logo and we hit open. From here, we can see the file is in the tracking station. It hasn't been uploaded yet though. We go ahead and hit upload, and we will see that the file will upload to the tracking station and anybody can view it when they go into this order. We can also hit the create file button, which will open up a notepad and allow us to add any notes that we need to, such as a name list or any other info. Following that, we can save the order or cancel it in the bottom left. Next, we have the color boxes. Just like I stated in the home page video, these boxes are completely customizable to what your store has set them to. So we can set them to whatever color we need, and we can check them if need be. Now, since this order is still in new orders, we will not check a box yet because the staff member in charge of production has not seen the order yet and has not assigned it to what your store has set these color boxes to. Following the color boxes, you have the notes. The notes is where you will place any important information that needs to be seen by anybody working on this order. For this example, we'll go ahead and place in the notes that the customer is paid at the time of ordering. The series of checkboxes down at the very bottom of the tracking station is how you move an order from queue to queue. For instance, whenever you first start using this order, it will say New Order. From the new order, you will uncheck it and move it to Production by checking the Production checkbox. Once you check the Production checkbox, you will hit the bottom update button just below Edit Status and allow the staff member in charge of production to see the order and continue with it in the production queue. Once you've hit the update button, you will see a pop-up that says your data has been saved. You are now free to return to the home page. Your order has been saved and created. In this section of the video, we're going to take our previously made order and continue it through the production process. Let's go ahead and maximize the production queue to find our order. Now, when we look at the production queue, we are looking for an order that is white, meaning that no actions have been taken with the order. We are looking for Company A, Jane Doe, 1.5 by 3 steel plate. We have located it at the bottom of the screen here, and we'll go ahead and open it by hitting the company name. When we hit the company name, it will take us to the tracking station. We will first look and see if there's any important note that the staff member in charge of production needs to note. There is currently none, so he goes ahead and hits the sales order or estimate number in the top, which takes him to the sales order. From here, he looks to see what is needed for this order. And one thing to note, if you need to make any changes to this order, you can select the Edit button in the top right, and this will allow you to go in and change the order. Following the Edit button, you can hit the Tracking button to return to the tracking station. You also can print out a print preview of this order so your assembly can know what they need to make. Let's go ahead and return to the tracking station by hitting Tracking. Now that we're back on the tracking station and have gathered all the stock needed for this product to be assembled, we can go ahead and check the statuses to move it along in the queues. First, we'll check assembly, then stock pulled, then engraving. This will move it into the assembly and engraving queue, and the stocked order pull will make it so that it turns yellow in the production queue, noting that you have already looked at this order. Following that, we'll go ahead and select the color box that is needed for this order. For us, it's going to be blue. Finally, we'll update by selecting the bottom update button, which will save this order. We can now return to the home page. For this next section, we're going to take a look at the engraving queue. We're going to see what the engraver does with the order once they're received in his queue. Let's go ahead and maximize the engraving queue to take a look and find our order. Now that we're in the engraving queue, we'll look for our order, Company A. As soon as we locate it, we will select the company name on the far left. Now that we're in the tracking station, we can go ahead and mark it Engraving in Progress. We'll go ahead and check Engraving in Progress and hit Update. This will let everyone know that you are currently in the engraving process, and if they have any changes, they need to come speak to the engraver immediately. Let's go ahead and go into the sales order so we can see what we need to engrave. Now that we're in the sales order, we can see what we need to engrave. We'll go ahead and go into Edit the Sales Order or Estimate Number. In the sales order or estimate number, there's two things that the engraver needs to fill out. The first one is once he completes the engraving, he'll put his initials for engraving complete. Second, he will put down what he has saved the file under for customer reference in the future if they ever decide to make this order again. Once that is complete, we'll go ahead and hit Save Document. Once we hit Save Document, we'll return to the tracking station and we will uncheck Engraving in Progress and Engraving, and check Engraving Complete, No Engraving. This will show that engraving has been completed and remove it from his queue. We will go ahead and hit Update, and that will update the rest of the queues to let us know. Now we are free to return to the home screen. For this section of the video, we're going to take a look at the assembly queue. The assembly queue is where all products are put together. Let's go ahead and go to the queue. In the assembly queue, we're going to go ahead and find our previous order that we've been working on, Company A. Once we find Company A, we'll go ahead and select the business name. That will take us to the tracking station. Once we're in the tracking station, we're going to go ahead and change a couple of the statuses to show the fact that we are currently working on this order. We will go ahead and check Assembly in Process. This will show that we are currently working on this order. Now let's go to the sales order to see what needs done. In the sales order, we can see that it was a simple engraving. Let's go ahead and print this out by going to Print Preview. Once we pull up the Print Preview, you can see Print in the top right. We'll hit Print, and then it'll pull up the print options. And we'll hit Print once again. Once we've printed, it'll take us back to the Print Preview. Now let's go back to the Assembly queue. We'll go to the Home drop-down and then select Assembly. In the assembly queue, we're going to go ahead and go back to our order to show that we've completed the process of putting the item together. We will uncheck all items except for production. So we'll uncheck Assembly, Stock Order Pulled, Assembly in Process, and Engraving Complete, No Engraving, and check Production Complete. This will tell the staff member in charge of production that the order is complete and it needs quality control. Now we're going to look at an order that's a little bit more complex. We'll look at Company F's order. As we can see, this order is complex enough where they want a proof due date on it. Now we'll go into the sales order. As you can see, there's quite a bit here. They're having some custom plaques made with a list of names on it, 12 of them, and also they're having a case done as well. This is for a groundbreaking ceremony. There's a lot to this order, so Assembly prints it out and has a copy on hand at all times with the order. As you can see also, this is where taking detailed notes in either the tracking station or in the sales order become very important. You are now free to return to the home page. Next, we're going to take a look at the final step in the production process. We're going to go ahead and maximize the production queue and find our order, Customer A. Once we find the order, Customer A, we'll go to the tracking station and continue to the sales order. We will now take a look at the sales order to double check all the information. We will make sure that the engraving is correct, the size is correct, and the material is correct. Once everything is double checked and the product is correct, we will have Assembly mark the order complete by typing in the number of boxes or bags, their initials, and where the product is placed. They will then return to the tracking station and uncheck Production Complete and check Invoice Pending, Pickup, or Ship and Deliver. We will now take a look at the Invoice Pending queue. Let's go ahead and maximize the Invoice Pending queue to take a look and find our order. Once we find our order, we will go ahead and open up the order to take a look at the tracking station by selecting the business name. Once we're in the tracking station, we'll go ahead and double check all notes to make sure they're currently correct and to see if there's anything we need to note. For instance, the customer paid when they placed the order. We'll go ahead and go into the sales order to double check one last time to see what the order contained. Now that we've checked it, we will go ahead and go to QuickBooks to create the invoice. Once we're in QuickBooks, we'll find our correct sales order, double check the info to make sure it's correct, and then select Create Invoice in the top of the QuickBooks menu. We'll make sure that we select Create New and hit OK. Once we're in the invoice, we'll go ahead and look for the sales order number. You can see it's 259. We'll go to the right and you'll see Workflow Merge. We'll enter in 259. Now that we've created the invoice and linked it to the correct sales order in Workflow, we'll return to Workflow and return to the tracking station. As you can see, next to the sales order you see Invoice. It now has an invoice number. Now that it has the invoice, we can go ahead and uncheck Invoice Pending and leave Pickup check. Now remember, in some orders you will also have Ship and Deliver versus Pickup, so check the appropriate box according to the order. Now that we've finished all production and the order is in the pickup queue, the customer can come in and get it. Once the customer comes into the store, we'll go ahead and find their order in the pickup queue. Once we've found the order in the pickup queue, we'll go ahead and open up the tracking station to take a look at any notes that may have been placed by the bookkeeper, the production supervisor, and anyone else that possibly would have put notes. For instance, we can see the customer paid when placing the order. We'll go ahead and look at the order complete box and see where the item is located. Once we've inspected everything and the customer is satisfied, we'll go ahead and uncheck Pickup and check Pickup Ship Complete. That will archive the order for future use. The only difference between the Ship and Deliver queue and the Pickup queue in this instance is that in the Ship and Deliver queue, you will enter in the tracking number in the notes, and you will not remove it from the Ship and Delivery queue until you have confirmation the order has been received. On behalf of everyone here at Crown Trophy, thank you.